Welcome back to Inside the Heat. The 2012-2013 Heat got off to a fast start in the early part of the season. Coming off their Christmas Day victory in a finals rematch against the Oklahoma City Thunder, the Heat stood a franchise-best 20-6. That would prove to be just the beginning of the most thrilling, best regular season in franchise history. The Heat never played satisfied. They kept pushing to win and improve. Now, they would need to work through a few early season setbacks and lessons that would ultimately prepare them for a run at NBA history. The Heat rang in the new year with a 22-8 record, but a home matchup against the Bulls would highlight a glaring issue for the Heat.
They out-rebounded you 48-28, and they had 20 offensive rebounds.
Boozer has it trickle off, and Noah tips it back in.
That's what's been happening, so we're not going to get bigger overnight, so we got to find a way to fix it.
And the Chicago Bulls beat the Miami Heat.
The Heat took to the road, where their struggles would continue.
That was a strange trip, because when they started the trip in Indiana, they just really came out with absolutely no energy. Miami just looked completely out of sorts in that game, and I think that was one of the more disappointing performances of the season.
You know, giving up second chance points, we continue to get our rebounds. It's very frustrating.
George for three. Paul George, been a one-man wrecking crew for Indiana.
Then you go to Portland, you had an opportunity to win that game. You were up 12 points.
LeBron, hammer time.
You're ahead, all of a sudden, Wesley Matthews comes down, boom, three-pointer. Comes down later, boom, three-pointer.
Matthews from downtown. Chalmers for three, and Portland stuns Miami.
I think that trip really opened the Heat's eyes to, we've got to get better on the road.
The Heat rebounded with a 29-point rout of the Kings, highlighted by 10 threes from Mario Chalmers, who tied Brian Shaw's single-game Heat record.
You know, he just had an opportunity in the last game to hit a game win, and he missed it. I like that he came back aggressive. Credit to him for tying a Heat record, hitting 10 threes. I mean, that's just a phenomenal feat.
There's a lot of guys who can do a lot of things in that team, and that night, they recognized that Mario Chalmers was on. They just kept going to him, and he kept delivering.
Mario Chalmers does it! He has tied the record 10 triples. After dropping a game in Utah, the Heat took on the Golden State Warriors, another game that would have historical implications. LeBron James has just become the youngest player to reach the 20,000-point mark. Congratulations, LeBron. With help from teammate Dwayne Wade, James would pass another career milestone in the very same game. LeBron gets his 5,000th career assist on a gorgeous backdoor cut from Dwayne Wade. After LeBron's big night, the Heat finished out the road trip with their first look at the new-look Lakers in Los Angeles, where they secured a win.
A steal by Wade. Wade to the rim.
They bounced back to end the trip strong, and then you started thinking, does this team need something, some big, to really do things?
That big would come in the form of Chris Anderson, who signed with the Heat on January 20th.
Chris Anderson changes the dynamic for this team. He's an amazing shot blocker, a great rebounder, an energy player.
Chris decided this was the moment, and he was eager. That's exactly what the Heat were missing.
After 2 wins at home, the Heat traveled to Boston.
The Celtics, it's a rivalry game, and you're in for a tough game.
Miami was competitive, and it was a back-and-forth scenario.
LeBron for the tie, got it!
The Heat suffered a loss in a double overtime thriller.
This was a frustrating game because the Heat had chances to win it.
Nothing to hold our head about tonight. That's just how the game goes. You got to play to the very last minute.
The highlight of the trip is obviously the very next day they go to Washington, D.C.
The Miami Heat in the house, the White House, that is.
This was a basketball president celebrating a basketball moment, and you could almost see that he enjoyed having the Heat there as much as they enjoyed being there.
Everybody was incredibly touched, including LeBron, who I thought made some funny references.
Mama made it. One of the things I'm proudest of is that they take their roles as fathers seriously. That's a good message to send. We're very proud of them for that.
That struck a chord with this team more than anything else. I think it was, without question, one of the unforgettable moments of the season.
More special moments for the Heat would come as a win over the Raptors gave coach Eric Spoelstra the opportunity to coach the East in the All-Star game. It also sparked the beginning of an amazing winning streak led by a series of record-breaking performances from LeBron James.
He's an avalanche of talent, unstoppable.
Just when you thought LeBron didn't have another gear, he started to show you he had another gear.
13 of 14 from the field. He's never been that accurate.
He missed one shot in a game. That's unheard of.
And the only shot he missed was from 1 inch.
LeBron James continues to make history every time he steps on the court. 6th straight game with 30 points or more and shooting over 60%.
first player in NBA history to do that.
Led by LeBron's red-hot streak, the Heat were able to secure a statement road win over the Thunder in their final game before the All-Star break.
That was just the beginning of a pretty significant run that they were about to go on.